Question?
It seems to be getting clearer, Father, that the body boundary, whatever I've assumed the body boundary to be, sensation of shoulder, especially also head, maybe some that may not be my boundary. Okay. It seems that, so I don't know if I'm using imagination at this point, so I want to clarify everything. So it seems very, very, not only possible, but it seems that they are occurring not at my outer limits. Okay, I'll just put it that way. They're not occurring at my outer limits. But I have to use imagination then, from there onwards, to then say, oh, where is my limit? Because I can't say also that also, where my limit is, or... And it's nothing extraordinary, it's just very simple.
So, what changed between this and the seeming outer, that you went from looking to imagination?
No, so when I say, okay, where is my limit? Okay, then maybe like at that point maybe some thought is trying to say, oh, I don't, okay, so that's what I mean by imagination. So what I'm saying is that, okay, it's starting to get clearer that the body limit is not my limit. Okay, it just seems obvious actually. There's no logical reason to even suggest why I feel that way, but it just seems obvious. So now, then I am this, for lack of a better word, emptiness in which that is, so it's complete emptiness in which these sensations are playing out, it seems. Okay. So then you've often asked the question, what's your where is your boundary? Can you define your boundary? So then the mind of course goes and says, okay, where is it, here, is it there? But I can't say where my boundary is. I can't say if it is limited or unlimited. I can't say either, Father.
Good, that's good. So as you start looking, you see that it is the same space on either side or any side of the sensation which we have used to define ourselves.
Yes.
So the looking at the space on this side or that side is the same.
So so I'm actually, okay, so I'll tell you what's going on. It's funny. Okay, so now what the mind has done is made a plane, okay, like this. Okay, and like a plane that extends from one shoulder to like just, so it's made a plane and said, okay, I'm feeling these two things, so obviously there's a whatever, but so you
because you have this visual inclination, so these imaginations will come. It's okay. So what you're just checking very simply is the same way that you were checking. You're saying that it's pretty apparent that these sensations, I am not contained in them.
Yes.
So I was saying that just the same way as we look at one side of these sensations, suppose we look at the right side of them, the same way we look at the left side of them, isn't it? There's no difference in either the space or the looking when either of these is happening.
There's no difference in the space.
In the space in which they are occurring, either on this side or that side.
Yes.
And there is no difference in the way we look.
It just appears.
It just appears, exactly. So there is no substantial difference in this side or that side.
No, there is no. You actually, if I don't use the mind, then I can't say this side or that side.
Exactly.
Like left shoulder, right shoulder, or
Yeah.
sensation here or
Exactly.
there, right?
Exactly.
Then I can't say
So-
that.
Actually, if we don't use our mind, then there's not much. You know?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So if I don't use the mind, Father, then
Yeah.
then
Then no, then also.
then there is no.
Without the mind, there is no then, no now, no here, no there.
So as in when I say I don't use the mind, as in I ignore it. I just say, okay, you can
Exactly.
say whatever you
Exactly.
want, and okay. So now I'd like to
Yeah.
go further. What I notice in the day through habit, the sensation becomes the focal point, and then every now and then I say, oh, but it's becoming easier to say, oh, but I'm just not that, and it's also becoming easier to see that I am this in which it occurs. Okay, so it just brings me right back to, in a sense, away from it all. The only problem is that the mind is still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's all it's just saying, okay, so now what?
So
Now
that's
what?
why I was saying that when Cad was asking yesterday, so what is it that needs to happen? You see, ultimately that's what
That's
it is.
exactly what it is.
What is the end of this
Yes.
search?
Yes.
And I said, the only thing that needs to happen is that you have to give yourself the gift of one uninterpreted moment. You see? And again the mind will say, what now? Same answer. Give yourself the gift of one uninterpreted moment.
So, okay, when you say one uninterpreted moment, now in this moment, let's do it
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Okay, so in this moment, okay. So this desire comes up, in a sense.
Desire is
I'll tell
also
you.
interpretation.
No, I know. But I'm just telling you what's happening.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
being very.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
be
yeah.
very. So the only thing that's is saying is that I wish this mind wasn't there right now.
So
Say-
let's break it down. Then
Yeah, I'd
really
like to
slowly.
really break it down. Fine.
So when we say a desire comes up, what is a desire? It is only a thought believed in.
Hmm.
And the thought comes, I wish the mind wasn't there.
Yes.
And it's like something gives assent to that.
Yes.
You see? So that becomes your knowing or your belief.
Right.
You see? So that is interpretation. Now, you have to say from your own experience whether when it comes up, it is that compelling that it cannot go uninterpreted.
So far, it has seemed like that. Like it
Yeah.
does get a
And
little compelling.
now from your experience. One tip could be just let it go.
I think just this now what? This now what's
Now
now what? is
So
that?
let also this, let every thought go one word at a time. You see, if you try to let it go like a collective whole, that also then seems like we give it meaning and then we try to let it go. So it's like now, so now is gone. What is gone? So if you don't make it a now what, it is easier. You see, something like really slows down. You see, because what can happen is if you look at it as a collective whole, then it can feel like naturally I'm already giving it some meaning. You see? So when the mind is coming, I wish, so all of them are coming and going already. So don't hang on to what it is saying collectively also. I know that this is can seem a bit unnatural initially, but actually it is very natural. Like we are hanging on to the completion of the thought, you see? And then we should I give this meaning or not? But if you're hanging on like that, already some meaning is already starting to be given, you see? So take it one word at a time, one letter at a time, however
it's
it is.
Not even a voice. It's very subtle. It's
messaging.
Very,
it's like a
it's just very. It's almost sensational, like a sensation, not even a voice. You know.
Yes, it's a sensation. Even everything is perception or sensation. So what is actually happening in satsang? When this messaging is coming and you feel like this is meaningful. So suppose the message was meaningful, that the mind has to go. This message, suppose it is meaningful. We talk about what are the tools that the ego has. But what are the tools that a master has? You know by now, what are the tools? If this messaging is there, what are the tools the master will use? You say, who is it talking to? Who are you in the first place? Can you define for whom does it have to go? Or who is the perceiver of the mind? So the who question. Should I lay out all the tools? Or will you then end up just knowing it, knowing them? So let's say that is the tool. Because of what? Because of this seeming habit to give meaning to this. And if you were to deconstruct it anyway, which is the second tool, which is to then look, do we know any of what this is saying? Like I wish the mind would just go. So we don't know what I is, what a wish would be, what mind actually is, and what coming and going is. We don't know any of this. So that is what the not knowing is about. It's the same thing. To let you remain without interpretation is the whole game in a way. So what is the third? I'm sharing. So is to say whatever it is saying is the master's problem. You don't have to worry about it. Surrender. So like that. Without attaching anything, all these tools, just in the way that the mind uses the tools of relationships, of security, of body and of meaning, freedom, all of these things. And the master also uses these tools to deconstruct our interpretations, our knowing. So suppose that you say, I wish I would be empty of desire. That itself is so fake, isn't it? Because that itself is a desire. So start by being empty of that. So fundamentally what every master is saying is that all our interpretations are invalid. And that is why they lose their meaning. And you are able to let them go. Yeah. So what am I saying? Fundamentally it is all about giving yourself this gift of remaining uninterpreted, of living an unlabeled existence, notionless, conceptless, whatever you call it. But we say, if this was clear, finished. Finished, no? It's like a return to a childlike innocence. Yes, children die, 1 second playing, 1 second dancing, 1 second crying. It's okay. It's like becomes like that. But What usually happens is that we have a but, which is like an interpretation. It says, when will this become permanent? You see? Then the master can say, who wants it to be permanent? Or what do you know about permanent anyway? What is permanent? What is time? Do you know any of this? You see, so, or it'll become permanent when Guru's Kripa. You see? So leave it. Either way, leave it. You see? If you don't know it, leave it. You see? Who wants it this way, leave it. It's the master's problem, leave it. Any which way, leave it. You see? You see? And come to that uninterpreted, not a state, but let's call it state for a moment. And what is an interpretation but just a version of reality, you see, which doesn't match up to the actuality at all. In any moment of just looking, you see, can you have a version of what is going on even right now phenomenally? Forget about the non-phenomenal aspect. You see, who can truly define what this is? You see, even phenomenally, we can't. You see? And that reality is just apparent to us naturally. So we don't need the photocopy, the facsimile version of it. You see? It is an invitation to know this version, which doesn't actually conform to reality at all. Because it is inherently dual, it is inherently full of separation. All our versions. So in this one moment of unlabeled existence, it is enlightenment, it is freedom, it is truth. It is the most sacred practice. This is what I was saying the other day. There is actually no distinction between any of these. It is just even to say it is just this would not be valid, because then the mind makes a version of this which is the phenomenal this, you see, and it leaves that as something that or something this and that, you see. So just it is a stepping back from duality, although I realize that even that is a dualistic phase. So if you have an interpretation of anything at all, the master will have a who, he'll have a nonsense, he'll have a leave it to me. You see? These are the main tools. Or he'll have a paradox which is available to you. You see, like a paradox. If you think you know so much, okay, tell me what this is this. Just to help you return to your innocence. Because your innocence is, in your innocence the truth is apparent, it is enlightenment. But truly innocent is not even hanging on to the idea that in my innocence the truth is apparent. You see, this is the thing. That is why I have said that most importantly what I am saying is that to know even one thing is to know too much. At best, if you say that I just can't do it, or some idea like that. So rather than the idea that I just can't do it, then hold at least one notion. You're given license for one notion. Maybe it's Guru Kripa Kevalam, maybe it is who am I, maybe it is what do I know when I know nothing. But fundamentally, even this will have to be left behind. So in a way, the master is introducing you to your underwater breathing gills. You see, gills. You were born with gills, but you just felt like the only way to breathe is through the nose. You see, so you felt like I must know this, I must know that, I must do, I must not do. All of these ideas were there. You see, and then you were dipped into this unlabeled existence, into your notionlessness. Initially, it can feel like you have to come out of the water and get a hold of at least something. Get a hold of at least something because you're not able to breathe. But because these gills have not been used, it can feel like you forgot where they were, you see? Because they were lying unused for so long, it feels like you forgot where they were. But as you're dipped back into this unlabeled life, notionless existence, you see that you don't have this feeling to come out of the water now. You took a dip and you can be there. Even without the idea of trying to be there. Beloved Father, burn everything that is not myself. Kindly purify my heart and make me Niranjan. I am here to burn myself in your light, Father. Every day I decide I will not come to Satsang, and every day I find myself in Zoom. Must be your grace. Once we start to see everything as the Sadguru's grace, we don't need anything, any knowledge about what is going on, what is not going on. You see? That's good. Father, the only problem is all the time that when we listen to you, we are listening already from a position. Yes. And this makes it impossible to hear what you say. Thank you, Father. Love you. Yes. Yes. Very good. Very good. Yes. Of course, one of the most favorite tools of all masters is to bring you back to now. Like what is now, but what about now? Because here, no story, nothing happened. Yes, come closer. Should we keep a chair next to me? Usually. Yeah. Okay.
Remember the day when I was saying I was in track.
Remember that day when you were saying what? That?
No, I start my day.
Huh?
I start the day trying to be there.
Yeah.
Okay? So I seek the help of I am present meditation or Muji and whatever.
Yes.
And it goes on. Okay? I'm quite content being there. And after I did the session with you, and I just looked at the Instagram. For some reason, I don't do that every day.
Yeah.
And there it was, Ramana saying, you need effort to be there.
Yeah.
You need a conscious effort to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, it seems so strange. Like he was talking to me. He was telling me, no, the effort you're doing to be there is necessary at this point because I'm not naturally there. But
Yes.
naturally there. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just rambling now.
No, it's good. It seemed like a slight shift in perspective because the way you conveyed to me the other day was that I'm on this constant treadmill of trying to get it. It was not like I'm quite content with. It was more like, oh, I feel like I'm on this constant treadmill to try and get it and things like this. You see, so what Bhagavan has said is not new to you. I've said often that because our habit is to try and pick it up, initially it can feel like it is effort to leave it alone. So that effort we must make. You see? So if you still buy into the idea that I am still not naturally there, you see, your perspective in a way defines this. You see? Depending on what the nature of your doubt is or what you're saying, but you see, then the master will have one of the tools. So if you say, but I'm not naturally there, then obviously the master will say, okay, then inquire who you are. So say something which is truthful about you. So then the master can give you a valid response.
So now, the techniques I use for the efforting, for that effortless place, I'm efforting. So what do I say? Sometimes I say, these are things that help me. Okay? I'm not an object. I'm not an object.
Yes.
So straight away I go into the objectless space.
Yes.
Immediately. And sometimes I say,
so,
just be.
Okay,
just
slowly.
be.
So when you say I am not an object, then I go into an objectless place. Now, this I that goes into objectless place is an object, or what is it?
It's not an object. It is.
What is it?
It's just plain being. It's right there. It's being.
And what was its nature before you said I am not an object?
Prior to that, also being.
So it is not that something is actually changing. It is just that you are recognizing in a more clear way the reality of what already is.
Yeah.
That is good, because otherwise it can feel like when I do this I become that or I change into that. It is not that. You recognize what already is.
Yeah.
Then that reduces the scale of the disease in a way. Because you see that there is no actual affliction. It is just a seeming that I have this affliction of objectivity, in the sense of affliction of limitation. Okay, so that is one. What is the second trick you use? I am not an object is a good one.
So being.
Yeah.
So I say being. Just be. I say just be. And I say, in that being I can is aware. So seamless. Then it becomes seamless. So that much effort is required sometimes. Most of the time for me, you know. Because
yes, and as long as this report sounds true, you must put in that effort. Any inquiry, who am I? You're doing the invitation, which is good. You see? As long as there's a sense that there's a me, whatever the affiliations of this me might be, it is good to use one of these pointers.
And the other day when I was sitting with you, it became like, you know, the isness was so, it wasn't a photocopy.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't a photocopy then.
Yeah. So if you don't worry about how it was that day, how is it now?
Yeah, even now.
Yes.
The objectless, I don't know, I'm looking for that which I experienced, that this kind of stupid habit is coming.
To storify in a way.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that?
that's like storifying, isn't it?
Like that day this happened.
That day.
That's exactly what I was also telling you that day, that the full Ganga is here. You see? The full Ganga, the full river is here.
Full river.
You don't have to go to your cans of 3 days ago. Or,
I know.
Fresh water is completely available. You see? It's all a habit to conclude a thing that, okay, this is what I got that day, this is what I see today, this is what happened to me. You see? But suppose your son, when he was younger, suppose at 5 or 6 he came to you and said, he was in a river of fresh water able to drink. You see? But he was saying, but I'm running out of water in my can, what should I do, Pa? What would you tell him? You would say, here, drink this, it's just here. You see? It's like, you have I say sometimes, you have the best buffet in the world laid out for you, but you're worried about the morsels that you have in your pocket. This can happen. I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just saying that this is the habit.
Yeah, I know. It's so silly. Yeah.
All there is just here, naturally. All there is just here, naturally.
The ocean is there for you to drink. No.
And you are there as the ocean.
Be the honey and drink the honey and be the honey.
Do what you want with the honey. It's here. Just don't go back to your pouches of honey collected from previous dips.
Yeah.
Boundless ocean, just naturally here. And Kabir said, the fish is thirsting in the water. What to tell it? Now the fish says, do I need to make an effort to gulp, or should I just gulp? Or this is just naturally happening. You see, what do you tell the fish? Sometimes you say, okay, if it feels like effort, just drink. No, either way you drink. You see, this is the thing. Like, it is actually like that. You see? What instruction do you want to give the fish? Sorry, my hand is a bit straight. Sorry. So, no, you can keep it down if you like. So, what instruction would you give the fish who is complaining to you that it is thirsty? The fish is saying, but the greatest authority has told me to make the effort. I'm saying, yeah, okay, drink, whatever it takes you drink. You see, now the thing is, the paradigm is even funnier than that, because it is not the fish complaining, it is the water complaining. You see, even that line of separation is not there. It's like a droplet of water is complaining, what do I do, I'm thirsty. But you're water, no? But it takes effort to see I'm water. Okay, make that effort. But it should be natural. Okay, it's natural. Whatever way it is. You see?
Oh my God.
It's like we have to find a way to insert duality where there is none. You see, like even this effort, non-effort, like paradigm. Because it's like the droplet has to find a way to do it instead of just doing it. Instead of just being it in a way. The water droplet is saying that the highest authority came to me on Instagram, that too. It's quite tech savvy now. Saying, you have to drink, man. You have to drink. How can you say? No.
Total boom boom.
It has to be pointed out. Like the thing is that either way, effort, non-effort, just what is it? What is it? What is it? That is important. Like, what are you now? So either you took effort or you didn't take effort. What are you now? The water droplet says, should I take a glass and drink? Should I fill it in my cup? Or should I just dip myself in it and drink? You see, what answer will you give? Whatever you do, you drink. No, but tell me how, what is the best way? Fundamentally, it's like saying, should I make an effort to leave it or should I just leave it? Either way, leave it. You see? Should I do Om Shanti 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 left? Or is it just left? You see? Leave it.
The total identity is not lost.
And as long as you still believe that that is true, you see, some pointing will come, some instruction will come. Now you say, okay, if the fish came to you and said, but my identity is not lost, how do I drink? Or the water droplet said this to you, what would you say? The only thing that keeps up your identity in that moment is the belief in the idea that identity is not lost. Can I promise you one thing? That in your one moment of notionlessness, you are as free as Bhagavan was. And if he picked up the idea that full identity is not lost, then he would be as bound as you are. There is no other distinction, and even this distinction is not fundamentally true. And this is for all of you, because we can then otherwise have this, you see, projected idea that the truth is far, that the finality is at a distance away. You see? Then we project time and space into all of this, but it is only this. This is all there is. Otherwise, there could be no truth if it also came and went. So give yourself the gift of freedom right now, as free as the greatest sage ever was. How come we become so certain about our doubts? You see? But we're not so certain of that which is so naturally present. We become very certain about our doubts very fast. Right? I still haven't caught it. There's still some way to go. Okay, what is the destination you want to get to? I must be free completely of my identity. When will it go? Now it can. It cannot go in the future. It can only go now. All our conditions, all our tendencies, naturally they are gone actually, now only. How come when Bhagavan says that you are the self and the self can never get it or not, never lose it, that one doesn't get so much attention? It's just like, oh, that he's speaking from the ultimate perspective. We make this distinction. So, what do we need to do to give ourselves this gift of one moment of uninterpreted existence? If you call that effort, then that effort can be made. It's just that. What do you need to do to give yourself this gift of not labeling what is? Of letting go. So if it takes the question, who am I? Of course, by all means ask it. If it takes the reminder, Guru Kripa Kevalam, of course, by all means use it. If you need to be reminded that you don't know anything at all, remind yourself, whatever it takes. But the point is not what it takes to get you there, but what this is, what is here. Give yourself this gift this moment. empty of right and wrong, empty of got it, lost it, empty of truth and false, empty of effort and non-effort, abiding and non-abiding. Empty of recognition and non-recognition. Empty of every idea and its opposite. Empty of lower and higher, truer and falser, ultimate and practical. Empty of time and timeless. Empty of the idea of emptiness. Neither this way nor that way. Father, I go to Monte Sahaja soon. You are coming with me in my heart. So good, my dear. Wonderful. Can you chant some verses from the book? The translator is knocked out. Someone else can read the English.
न पुण्यं न च वा पापं न क्रियादोषकारणं न चाध्यात्मं नाधिभूतं न दैवतमसंभवम्.
There is no merit, nor there is sin, nor actions causing defects, nothing related to the self, nothing related to the physical, nothing related to the divine.
न जन्म मरणे क्वापि जाग्रत् स्वप्न सुषुप्तिकम् न भूलोकं न पातालं न जयापजया जयौ.
There is no birth or death anywhere, no states of waking, dream and sleep, no realm of the earth or the netherworld, no victory or defeat.
न हीनं न च वा भीतिः न रतिर्न मृतिस्त्वरा अचिन्त्यं नापराध्यात्मा निगमागमविभ्रमः.
There is no wretched, no fear, no sensuality, no quick death, nothing unthinkable, no one guilty, nor the delusion of sacred law.
न सात्विकं राजसं च न तामसगुणाधिकम् न शैवं न च वेदान्तम् न स्वाद्यं तन्न मानसम्.
There is no quality such as the serene or the active or the excessive dullness, no Shaivism, no Vedanta, no sacred study, nor the related interest.
न बन्धो न च मोक्षो वा न वाक्यम् ऐक्यलक्षणम् न स्त्रीरूपं न पुंभावः न षण्डो न स्थिरः पदम्.
There is no bondage, no liberation either, no sentence, no characteristics of identifying, no female form, no male form, no condition of being neither male nor female, no permanent state.
न भूषणं न दूषणं न स्तोत्रं न स्तुतिर्न हि न लौकिकं वैदिकं न शास्त्रं न च शासनम्.
There is no praise, no slander, no hymn, verily no eulogy, nothing worldly, nothing pertaining to the Vedas, no scripture, nor any commandment.
न पानं न कृशं नेदं न मोदं न मदामदम् न भावनमभावो वा न कुलं नाम रूपकम्.
There is no drinking, no emaciation, none of this, no joy, no arrogance, or the absence of it, no mood or the lack of it, no caste, no name, and no form.
नोत्कृष्टं च निकृष्टं नोत्कृष्टं च निकृष्टं च न श्रेयो श्रेय एव हि निर्मलत्वं मलोत्सर्गः न जीवो न मनोदमः.
There is nothing outstanding, nothing base, no prosperity, nor verily the opposite of it, no blemishlessness, no excretion, no individual soul or control of mind.
न शान्तिकलनानागम् न शान्तिर्न शमोदमः न क्रीडा न च भावाङ्गम् न विकारं न दोषकम्.
There is no manifestation of peace, nothing attainable, no peace, no restraint of senses and mind, no sport, no part of existence, no transformation and no defect.
न यत्किञ्चिन्न यत्राहम् न मायाख्यानमायिका यत्किञ्चिन्न च धर्मादि न धर्मपरिपीडनम्.
There is nothing whatsoever in the least, nothing of the I anywhere, nothing of what is called Maya, delusive power, nothing associated with Maya, no righteousness anywhere in the least, no persecution of dharma.
न यौवनं न बाल्यं वा न जरामरणादिकम् न बन्धुर्न च वा बन्धुः न मित्रं न च सोदरः.
There is no youth, no boyhood, no senility, no death, and no such, no relative, no one, no unrelated, no friend, and no brother.
नापि सर्वं न च किञ्चित् न विरिञ्चो न केशवः न शिवो नाष्टदिक्पालः न विश्वो न च तैजसः.
There is no all, nothing in the least, no Brahma, no Keshava, Vishnu, no Shiva, no guardians of the 8 cardinal directions, no experience of the waking state or the dream state.
न प्राज्ञो हि न तुर्यो वा न ब्रह्मक्षत्रविद्वरः इदमेव परं ब्रह्म ज्ञानामृतमनामयम्.
There is no experiencer of deep sleep, no the 4th state, no Brahmana, no Kshatriya, or the highly learned. There is indeed the supreme Brahman, the affectionless nectar of knowledge.
न पुनर्भावि पश्चाद्वा न पुनर्भव संभवः न कालकलनानाहम् न सम्भाषणमकारणम्.
There is nothing that is reborn, nothing to manifest in future. There is no manifestation of the worldly life. There is no appearance of time, no I. There is no reason for dialogue.
Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Sadguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Guru Kripa Kevalam.